Welcome to my fifth and final video on releasing subconscious barriers to healing. If you haven't seen the first four, go ahead and click on the links before and watch those first. Now the fourth subconscious barrier to healing is trust. And there's several elements of trust that we need to talk about. The first one is a lack of trust or faith that there are actually effective methods out there to help you heal. Now, we touched a bit of this on the last video, but we've been taught often by Western medicine to not trust alternative medicine and that it lacks scientific evidence. And so we become mired in this belief system that only Western medicine is valid, mainly because of the only valid research. But this isn't true. I actually have a Ph.D. in neuroscience, and I've seen very good research from alternative medicine. Unfortunately, what happens is it gets shut out of the Western medical ADA or AMA approved databases, so it's hardly ever seen. But there are at least 60 studies in energy medicine alone at the Association for Comprehensive Energy Psychology website that are worth checking out. Also, there's a concerted effort by skeptics to debunk alternative medicine. In fact, there's a famous TEDx talk by a CBS News reporter. Her name is Shirley Atkinson, and she discusses this very issue. It's called Astroturf and the Manipulation of Media Messages. I've provided links below to both the Association for Comprehensive Energy Psychology and the TED Talk below for your interest. I strongly urge you to check that out. And just remember, the more you open your mind to alternatives, the more choices you'll have. The second element of trust is a lack of trust or faith that there are people that can help you. Now, if you have a hard time trusting others, this is probably for you. I know this well because I grew up with relationships that just weren't very stable. I had a lot of people leave me in my life and had a really hard time trusting that others would be there for me. So I ended up feeling like I had to do everything myself. And in order to release that pattern of not having closeness or not being able to trust others, you have to release that trauma from your past. But that isn't enough to restore trust. The other element to have that's important in having close confidential relationships and intimate relationships is understanding what is the anatomy of trust. Now, Brené Brown, who's famous for a couple of TED Talks on shame and vulnerability, has a video called The Anatomy of Trust. It's on Oprah's Super Soul Sunday. And again, I've provided the links below. I strongly urge you to check it out. It discusses what are those elements that are required to have a trusting and intimate relationship. And it gives you more fodder for having a discussion about how in friendships you can develop more trust between each other. She says that trust is like a jar of marbles, and that in order for you to have a trusting and intimate relationship, you need to fill that jar of marbles. You need to keep it full. And as soon as you start taking away from that jar of marbles, that's where the relationship starts to fizzle. So 2 things. Release that trauma of your past from relationships that weren't trusting or where you've been betrayed. And then learn about the anatomy of trust and learn about how you can build trusting relationships from here on forward. The third element of trust is trust and faith that the world will allow you to succeed. Again, this is something I know very well. If you get discouraged easily, if you're not willing to put yourself completely in a healing modality and to give it a fair chance, or if you tend to just run away and not even want to try anything, chances are likely that you don't believe that the world is going to be there to support you. If you have a hard time seeing your progress or celebrating your success, that is another feature of that. Unfortunately, if we don't believe that we can succeed, whether it's in your health, your wealth, or your happiness, we won't. I've blogged about this, about the article is called The Power of Believing You Can Improve, and it's based on a TED Talk of that very title. The TED Talk is by Carol Dweck, and she's done some amazing research about how, when she was able to change the mindset of young kids who were in disadvantaged communities, what she did was she taught them that they could improve. And this changed their mindset so completely that they became very diligent in school and went from the very bottom of their school districts to the very top. It's very impressive. So unfortunately, when you're pessimistic, when you don't believe that things will change, they won't. You've put that energy into it. But once you have that belief and drive that you can get better, the universe, you will do what it takes to meet your needs, to meet your goals. So if your belief system is getting in the way of your ability to heal, if you're having a hard time trusting others or in yourself even, come check out my interview, Releasing Subconscious Barriers, The Key to Health and Happiness, and contact me at 1-855-ENERJOY for a complimentary consultation. You deserve to heal. You deserve to be healthy. And don't let your head get in the way of what's possible. Thank you.